He goes mad for those ads, he's got a Trailer Jones.
Hello everyone and welcome to Trailer Jones. I am Brandon Jones and I'm joined by my lovely wife Amanda Troop.
Hello, it is I.
Do you like trailers?
I do.
You excited about trailers?
Sure.
We're going to talk about trailers today. Is that okay?
We are?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, for at least the next 30 to 40 minutes. And Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey.
Who's not been the original trailer scorer back in GT days. Who's not been on the show in a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm actually slightly nervous because I'm like, how does this show work now?
I'll tell you how this show works. We're going to score 3 trailers today. The Borderlands 3 gameplay reveal trailer, the Mortal Kombat 11 official launch trailer. Apologies, I've had Mortal Kombat on this show nonstop, but just people kept screaming at me to score this trailer. And selfishly, the teaser for Episode 9 of Star Wars. So, I am excited that Daniel Bloodworth is here because I believe you have more Borderland experience than most.
Sure.
In terms of experience from the Borderlands. And for many reasons, I am ecstatic that you are here, Amanda, because I know you have none.
I have none.
And so we have...
I have no Borderlands experience. I have almost no Mortal Kombat experience. And I have limited Star Wars experience. I almost said Star Trek.
Right, I know. Which is why it's so special that you're here today. I want your scores to be weird. I want them to offset everything. I want this to have its own balance in a strange way.
I'm going to try to be objective.
Because I think for the 3 trailers we're going to talk about today, I think, obviously, like you said, Star Wars, you have a little more influence on. You've seen those films. You know the story going up to it. But I am curious what the non-fan thinks of both of these trailers. This trailer in particular, because this is the reveal. So we did get a teaser saying the Borderlands 3 is the thing. We are going to do it. And then they dropped this on us. And I guess I would just go straight to Daniel Bloodworth for your raw impressions. You've watched the trailer for the first time. It's over. How are you feeling as a Borderlands fan?
Well, I mean, it wasn't my first time watching it, but...
well, I mean, when it was.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel at the time?
Sure. I felt, like, your brain kind of does this thing where, like, your memory of a thing is probably better than it actually is.
Sure.
And so...
I excel at that.
I think that's one of the issues I have with this trailer is I feel like I'm just seeing Borderlands 2 again. Mm-hmm. And I'm not seeing, okay, like, there's a lot of environments here, but with all the DLC Borderlands 2 had, like, there were a lot of environments. You could convince me that all of this stuff is happening on Pandora. I would take it. It doesn't feel like there's all of these different crazy worlds out there. And I think kind of the same goes for a lot of the characters. There's, like a lot of characters, and, like, no, that's a new person, isn't it? And so there's something about, like, their design style to where they've almost got it dialed in too well.
Right.
To where everything kind of feels very familiar. And then the only time it feels like they kind of, okay, now we're going to go for something crazy a little bit is, oh, here's guns with legs. And then you're expecting something else. And, like, no, now billions of guns. I'm like, well, we've always done the billions of guns in one way or another.
And I think that's one of my major issues with it is just structure, which I can get to in a second, and I can talk about my issues. But, lovely wife, what are your potential issues? What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? What's your vibe?
So
from
when
this?
I watched it, I didn't realize it was the gameplay reveal trailer. So once you told me it's the gameplay reveal trailer, I went, okay, it did its job. But I watched it and I thought, I don't get a sense of story here. I just see gameplay, which is, so then it's an effective trailer. It's very long, but again, I think if you're showing off a lot of the styles in the gameplay, that's a good thing to do. What you get is you get to see the artistry, the very specific kind of art of the game, and it's almost, I want to say it's almost like cel shaded, like it's
almost
definitely.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but it's got a little more. It's not it's not like quite to the level of some of the Zelda games of cel shading. It's got more detail. It feels a very graphic novel,
yeah,
and so it's got a nice aesthetic to it. I felt like there were some repeated beats where we saw the same kind of thing, but you did get a sense like, okay, you can race cars, you can change out your weapons, you can customize your look to a certain extent. You even got a sense of the kind of humor that they like in the game.
Yes.
And
Amanda, the first one to bring humor into the Borderlands conversation.
And it's a gritty world. It's very like Mad Max with more comedy. Although Mad Max had some comedy, didn't it?
Not much.
So this is more comedy than Mad Max. And you get it in the sense with the titles, and you like the titles,
Yeah.
right? The cheese explosion.
Right?
Cheer
Title-
explosion, yeah.
Cheer explosion, yes.
Yes.
Cheese explosion, I think, would work as well. I think it's both works.
And you get it with like the gun with legs, and there's just a few moments you can just tell, like, yes, this is an action game, yes, it's violent, but it's not taking itself super seriously. Just have fun with all of this. It's your playground, and have a great time.
I think she's diagnosed Borderlands pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think this trailer definitely achieves that. I think it kind of drags on a little bit in its attempt to do that. It's tough for me to say because this was played at an event for people going specifically for Borderlands. Yeah. So it's like if I was stoked on something and got 3.5 minutes, like, I wouldn't complain. But I think it does achieve that, Amanda, by coming across with everything that makes Borderlands. And I just think you see a lot. I wonder if I actually haven't dissected this trailer too much in terms of what we see at the end of the trailer versus what we see at the beginning. There's the big mashup at the end where they're like, all right, get ready for the big finish, and they smash a lot of cuts. But is this just a different angle of maybe a scene I'd already witnessed earlier in the trailer?
There was definitely one,
the weapons being reused.
There's a broadcast center or something that they show earlier, and then you see it again, a quick shot of it. But I don't think that's too bad of a thing. So
it's a tricky trailer to score because it's like, if I'm not satisfied with this, is this trailer even for me? Like, am I going to play Borderlands anyway? And do they just consider me a loss at this point? And they're like, that's fine. Or was there something about this that they did want to sell to the masses? Because I feel for the most part, this is a fan-geared trailer. It was a fan event, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
They stick a lot of characters in there. You've got the sax solo, which I think is a pretty fun breakaway moment from the rest of everything else. It looks kind of similar.
I think it's kind of the only breakaway moment.
Right.
It's the only moment in the trailer where it diverts. It does something different, and I think that's kind of my main issue is that it has this really bouncing song, this really loud, boisterous music, and the shots are really long. And some of the stuff that they introduce, I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's the shot's still going, and I'm like, I got it. I understand this weapon or this monster. I didn't, and not only that, but that chunk, that 6-second clip, we just get again and again and again. So the pace, even though it has a lot of energy, and it'll drop and then ramp up again, and the titles do separate it in a sense, it's just kind of the same vibe for 3.5 minutes. So it's interesting for me to kind of get lulled to sleep a little bit by this just incredibly colorful, insane, boisterous, funny, in your face, over the top reveal of this video game.
Yeah, I think really it's key in our ratings today if we look at it from the perspective of it being a showcase for what you get in the game, and I don't think it is an ad for people who don't play this franchise already, because
it's the reveal though. That's just tricky.
That's what's tricky. It's
hey world, look at us. We're Borderlands 3.
Yeah, but it's Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
So they won you over. If you were won over by Borderlands 1 or 2, they don't have to do the hard work of bringing you in with a story.
Yeah, which are still both pretty massive in terms of the amount of people playing.
Yeah. And for someone like me, first of all, this is not my style of game that I would usually play, but I do like the look of it. So I would want from a trailer, if they wanted to make me reconsider, I'd want to hear some voiceover. The titles are nice, but they don't sell me on the real. I'm not immersed, and because the characters none of them are speaking. There's not even it would have been fun if maybe even they had a freeze frame with a text bubble or something, but I don't know the point of view of any of the characters, so I know nothing about who these people are, what they want, what the story is, why they're fighting. I just see them all, jumping around together, and it doesn't pull me in.
Yeah. The second trailer does introduce the new characters.
There we go. Okay.
But it is pretty much freeze on them for a second. This is their name. This is their class.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really get into personalities, I don't think. Yeah.
That's actually a pet peeve of mine. In a lot of current marketing, they're like, this is Drax. He's a hunter. And it's yeah, okay. This is Sophie, she's a dog. Like, obviously, we get it. You know, like
How many
what
posters
else?
can we make?
Or you don't get it. You know, like there's also that question of like, oh, this guy's a Beastmaster.
The
like,
rough one.
okay,
Yeah. What is a
how
Beastmaster?
many beasts do we get?
Yeah.
Do we capture beasts? Yeah.
And why is he a Beastmaster? What made him become a Beastmaster in the first place? Does he like being a Beastmaster? Like, these are important questions.
Is there anything you're missing, Blood? It seems like you've been catching up with Borderlands 3's marketing. Is there anything still that you feel that this could have done that it didn't?
I mean, I definitely agreed with Amanda in that there's no story hook, and for me, for this to look so similar, for us to say, hey, we're gonna do the same thing again in terms of gameplay, and we're just gonna like amp it up, make it bigger, give you more options, then your reveal's got to hook me in a different way. And I think story is, and the weird thing is that they like towards the end of the pre-sequel, they were laying in that like groundwork of that tease of like, here's what's coming next, and they didn't like seal the deal with this moment.
Kind of pick up where that left off.
Yeah.
I would like you to write down your scores, lady and gentleman. And I will say one last thing, which is we're talking about the titles a little bit, and I mentioned this before in previous, Easy Ally shows, but I was surprised at the titles are kind of simple, I think, and there wasn't a lot of them. And I've actually seen previous Borderlands trailers for 1 and for 2 that had a lot more going on visually, very, crazy titles, and that seems to fit more kind of the attitude that they have, which is very similar to the attitude they had in other trailers. And so I was surprised that they have a minimalist style. Like, I never want to peer too much into a trailer's budget or time that it took to edit it, but I wonder if they just didn't have the resources for this reveal that maybe they've had in trailers of the past. Maybe they're saving that money for like a big launch trailer.
It's highly likely that they didn't have the VO laid down yet as well.
Oh, of course.
Which is a big reason why they wouldn't put it in.
A lot of time.
No, they've got to have a lot of VO.
I wonder.
That's the other part of this.
Yeah.
This is coming out in a few months.
Yeah, that doesn't actually mean that they're done recording the VO.
It's always like right at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that launch trailer. You finally get a lot of
enough.
people talking. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's a dispute.
I think it's likely that they don't.
This is a very talky game, though.
Yeah.
Or
So
they're really in the process of like
Yeah.
finalizing all of it when they're debuting the gameplay. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, we got our audio team. They're fixing all of that stuff. This is just a gameplay thing. But the fact that it's just a piece of music and no sound effects from the guns or anything, like not a lot of stuff going on.
No narration voiceover.
Yeah, no narration, no sound design, kind of like weaving the titles together or kind of carrying things.
Yeah, there were no sound effects.
I think there might be a little
Were
emphasis
there?
here and there, but like nothing that. Well, I mean, there's the saxophone, and like there are.
But the
there are
saxophone was in
riffs.
the music.
Who knows?
It didn't
Or who knows
sound
if it
like-
was originally?
It didn't
It's a
sound
weird
like it
song.
was out. I don't recall any noticeable sound effects to go along with the action.
I'm gonna do a 6.7. I think they could have done a lot more with this one.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Well, so as a trailer,
Uh-huh.
I gave it a 6.5.
Ah,
Wow.
my goodness.
But as a gameplay reveal, I gave it an 8 because it revealed the gameplay.
It did.
So I think it was a good gameplay reveal.
But your official score is 6.5. Please. No, I can't leave the
I'll
witness.
give it-
I can't.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay, all right.
Well-
okay.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
That
That was my original
average.
score, but I
That's my average, yeah.
I just keep, when
Yeah.
we talk about it and I look through it. Daniel Bloodworth.
That's funny. That's right on a 7.
Right on a 7.
Yeah.
Right
Okay.
on a 7.
Yeah.
Which I believe would average that out to a 6.9 for the collective score. Nice. For the Borderlands. Borderlands 3, I think, would appreciate that. The Borderlands 3 reveal trailer. And thank you very much for surprised that score. I love that. I can't wait to see what the next couple scores are going to be. I like
I'm
that
very
the
discerning.
gloves are clearly. Let's continue. So here's another game that you probably don't know a whole lot about, Amanda, but this is a totally different thing. We've gone from the reveal of Borderlands 3 to the launch trailer for Mortal Kombat 11. So this is it. This is probably like the last trailer you're bound to watch. I think they did drop on their channel like another character reveal after that. It has been an assault of media for Mortal Kombat 11. And normally I wouldn't talk about a game this much, but like there just seems to be another reason to talk about the latest trailer. We've had some really fun trailers. And This one for myself hits a note because it brings back this wonderful song that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was written for the film. That I was like the first time I actually ever remember hearing.
I know
that.
this song so well. I've heard it so much, but yeah, I don't actually know the history
I think it was
of it.
written around the film in the 90s.
Maybe, yeah.
And so them going back and seeing their old school characters, it's comments on everything that they've talked about so far, where it's the most recent iterations of these characters paired with the earliest iterations of the characters battling. And I feel the song itself is also doing that in this trailer. It's a song we recognize, sound clips we recognize, but also packaged in a very different way. But I'm hungry for just that raw Amanda Troop reaction to watching the launch trailer of Mortal Kombat 11.
So I thought this was a very good trailer. Here's what I liked. So, you know, I don't know the story. I'm not that familiar with the characters. I know enough that some of them, I was like, oh yeah, I know that. I know that. I recognize that outfit or that look or whatever. Like, okay, that's reminiscent. So I don't have a ton of experience with Mortal Kombat. But what I really liked about it, and actually this is something that I was going to say about the Borderlands trailer. What I liked about this trailer is that they had very specifically chosen lines of dialogue that not just helped to tell the story in the trailer, but also illustrated the character points of view, and that was really nice. What I appreciated too with this and the Borderlands trailer is that there were no shots of characters with just lip flaps and no VO, which I don't like.
Oh, I don't like that either.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we have that in common.
We do.
Yes, and maybe I learned it from watching you.
Yeah.
But
It's a good lesson.
But you know, it is really distracting when you see a character talking and you don't know what they're saying. And so both trailers did a good job of.
There's a lot of posturing in Mortal Kombat, so it's easy. There's a lot of shots of people just standing there looking important.
But I could also see them just using shots and having those lip flaps happening and just, you know, and accepting it. But this really looked like a movie, like a cinematic trailer, and it had an almost seamless transition between the cutscenes and the gameplay, and that was really cool to see as well. So you get a taste of what the gameplay is going to be like, but you also know this is going to be an epic story. You're going to see characters that have been really beautifully updated, and you're going to get a beautiful score and some great writing. So you get all of that from this trailer, and it's a fun trailer to watch.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Daniel Bloodworth, are you excited for the story of Mortal Kombat 11? Are you curious how this is going to shake down?
That's the thing.
You
It's
looking
like I
up the end
should not
cutscene on
be.
YouTube?
I should not be, but it gets you there,
Yeah.
right? It's got. I think it has a great energy, and I think, you know, I have got a little bit of context because they did have that earlier like really fun trailer where they were like, you know, like future person meeting past person and all that. But I think there was a lot there that they really didn't get into, whereas this sort of, like, through just, again, like very brief lines of dialogues, you establish like, okay, this is happening, this person's on this side, we're trying to stop this. Like, there's like a very well-intentioned like setup of like, this is what's going down. But I think with the song in particular, the biggest thing this has going for it is just the sense of energy. You know, like, even before I recognized the song, I liked the song. You know, like, they've got this build-up in there that doesn't sound familiar at all, and then all of a sudden, like, it kicks into that classic theme. It's like, oh, okay. You know, and they wait a little bit longer to get that vocal, that Mortal Kombat scream in there. You know, and then so I think it works
that's the
really
key.
well
You gotta
to build.
hold it. Like, whenever you have a song that people recognize, they're okay, and like your brain just automatically clues in to almost like, I think there's like this subliminal clock in your brain that's like, in 38 seconds it's going to get to that part that I like, and when it doesn't, it throws you off and you think, wait, whoa, what do you oh, I guess they aren't going to do it, and then bam, and then like that's like, it's like almost you got to wait 7 seconds after that, and then you hit, and it's so effective. And I hope it's not something that gets overdone now, because like the use of popular songs, you know, is definitely overdone in the trailer biz. And so it's interesting to see people kind of like, you do good or bad jobs, you know, just using old tracks. But I think the thing that I like is that it seems like serious. Like, a lot of these characters are serious. I mean, Johnny Cage, you know, drops a couple jokes, but like, it's interesting in that it sets up this very clear villain who I do not recognize. I'm not familiar with that character, who can manipulate time, thus explaining everything that we've been seeing so far. Not that we necessarily needed an explanation. It's a fighting game. It's Mortal Kombat. We can go along with whatever. But it illustrates the story in a very simple way. But then clearly there's way more going on, from all of these other characters we don't hear from. And clearly there's this tone of just absurdity, and it inserts like the gameplay in really good parts. Like it doesn't hang on fighting for too long. Like there are a couple sections where we do get some, 5 or 6 clips like back to back, but then it remembers like to go back to story. Like you need to reconnect with these characters to know, like you were saying, to maintain that energy blood. And I was just so like, it's just been so many times on social media where people are like, yeah, but the latest Mortal Kombat trailer though. And I'm like, again, it can't be that good. And then I watch this and like, man, not only is it good, but it's good in the space, and I know, Amanda, you've been keeping up with like their whole campaign, but like it's just a very well-timed trailer. It's like I don't feel bad that I missed all of their character reveals. I'm not necessarily interested to watch behind-the-scenes things or
actually, in a way, it almost does make me feel bad because I just like ignored a lot of that stuff, and they're like, man, were those all like really great?
But how great is that in a fighting game when you jump in? Who's this person? What is going on here? You just try them out, for the first time. And so I just think like attitude, I think, is what is done so well in these trailers. And I kind of like that we don't get, and I'm actually curious of your take, Amanda, on just like violence. Like you don't play games like this. You don't play games with a lot of gore, a lot of intense action, people shoving spikes into skulls. Like
I mean, I like Nidhogg.
You do like Nidhogg. You do like the explosions, and you do, like to, slaughter thousands when you're playing Zelda. But I'm curious.
What?
Yes, thousands.
In Zelda?
Yes, in thousands.
Are you talking about like Blades of Grass?
I'm talking about Breath of the Wild. You going out into the wilderness and just slaughtering anyone that you see.
But every time there's a blood moon, they come back.
It's true. So it makes everything okay?
Yeah.
Who knows how it works in the world of Mortal Kombat?
They definitely come back somehow. We don't know that.
Resurrections are also working in this game. But I don't know if you know enough about Mortal Kombat about the fatalities. So like if you have an option when you finish a match to just absolutely brutalize your opponent. And these trailers love to show that stuff because it is just so gratuitous.
Is that like
so over the top,
kick in the face?
So impossible with the laws of physics and gravity and everything. And we don't get a lot of fatalities in this. I think we get like 2, and they're not that severe. Like one is the guy getting kicked in the face, which like is cartoony but isn't too bad. And I wonder if that was intentional. Like
because they've got to have
intensity,
like
we want story, we want characters, a little bit of plot, but we don't need to go full gore. If you want that, go to the reveal, go to the old school trailer, go to the character reveals. I like that. I think that was smart. I like it. I didn't really notice it until I'd seen this trailer a couple of times. Like, oh, that's like a classic go-to Mortal Kombat impact moment in a trailer. And they focus more on like really solid editing, really picking the right moments. I love that shot of Kano with the laser. Like, it's just so like having little quick beats like that. Not to harp on Borderlands, but I think that's like kind of what that was missing, was just this like, me having to process something I saw visually a couple seconds after I saw it and not like fully understanding something and then watching it for 2 or 3 more seconds. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be the last time we talk about Mortal Kombat 11 on Trailer Jones. So let's get some scores down before we finalize it. And I again, just to focus on how wonderful it is to take that beautiful track that I danced to in the theaters when my friends and I went to go see Mortal Kombat in the 90s and reimagine it in a way that feels unique, that feels powerful, that feels like we are telling this old story, but we're telling a new story at the same time. Much like the trailer we're about to watch immediately after this, is embarrassing sometimes how moved I can get by music I'm familiar with. And I think this does that very well.
I don't think it's embarrassing. I think it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Can you please be on every single episode of Trailer Jones?
Yeah, well,
please back me up in these ways. Can you just kind of come in from off screen and say that?
I think being moved emotionally by being moved emotionally by art is a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yes.
I was moved by this trailer. Gosh, there's just not a lot this trailer did wrong. I don't 9.4. I got 9.4.
Oh,
it's very good.
I thought we didn't have
the points.
I didn't realize we could do
the
0.4.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I gave it a 9.5.
Oh, okay. Are you happy with that?
I am.
You're gonna stick with 9.5. Bloodworth.
Yeah.
I gave it 8.7.
8.7.
I couldn't rate it lower because I don't know it, and so I feel like if I knew it better, I would give it a 10. So I rated it a 9.5 because I felt like that was fair.
Well, that's why it's nice to have multiple panelists on it, and also why trailer scores are inherently silly. because you never know. But it seems weird that, you and I were very excited about this. I was emotionally, the music just gets me riled up. Blood's a little more cautious, bringing the average score down to a 9.2, which does feel
Which
kind
is still
of
a pretty good,
strangely
it's
right,
a pretty
doesn't
good
it?
score.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hopefully one of you can take me down from our next trailer. Here we go.
We've passed on all we know.
So here I am, a big fan of Star Wars. I got all my dumb little issues about Last Jedi, and the Episode 9 trailer drops, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Well, let's see where this is going. Do I care enough about these characters? Am I interested of where this story's going? I mean, yes, in all caps to all of those questions after watching this. This blew my mind. This was just a lightning bolt straight down the spine of my nerdiness. Like I got tingles after I watched this. Yeah, this was very effective, and I think I like it more and more the more I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably have the two of you talk about this trailer more than I do, because I just need other people to weigh in on this. You have informed me more about the world of Star Trek, and I appreciate that, Amanda. And I have dragged you kicking and screaming into the world of Star Wars.
Not kicking and
screaming.
No.
I will certainly be dragging you to see this movie, the weekend that it launches.
It's just a really weird sequel to Girls.
That's what?
With Adam Driver. I mean, he was,
Oh, it's a sequel to Girls. Okay, not to Girls, the population of
the
Girls.
TV show
the television
Girls.
show, yes.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But there was that sexy moment from Last Jedi, where he got the sexy Kylo. Does that remind you at all of some of your favorite girl scenes? Let's move on.
No.
What'd you think? I showed this to you. I made you sit down.
I love this trailer.
This.
I love it. It's so fun to watch. I love that they start with Rey. I love that you start with her breath, and you get that huge expanse. So it's, even though she's in this vast desert, we're intimate with her. We can hear her breathing, and she brings us into the process of her calming her mind so she can become the Jedi that we saw her start to become in the previous film. And we get that lightsaber reveal right at the top, which is just so sweet, because, we've been waiting and waiting for it.
Right.
And so when she finally gets the lightsaber, it's like, yes.
And this is Luke's. This is the one he threw. And he was like, I don't want that. And 8, like she's got it. They definitely close up on the lightsaber.
And I thought Episode 8 was so disappointing after Episode 7. Episode 7 I really liked. Episode 8, no, I did not care for it. And so I feel like this might be a return to what I liked about Episode 7.
Do you get that from the trailer?
I get that from the trailer.
Do you think? Well, I mean, just imagine the flip side of that. Imagine I do like Last Jedi, and I'm like, well, what is that? Am I screwed then?
No.
Do I get any of the
the
things? Does it seem like it's trying to fix?
No, I just
Last
think
Jedi,
I just feel like this one is back to the problem I had with Last Jedi was that it had that very later Lucas style. Harsh blend of silly comedy that didn't fit with the story, and so I kept getting pulled out of the more epic moments of the film because of porgs and right. and there were fart jokes, weren't there? Fart jokes or poop jokes or but there's not always fart jokes, and I like humor when it comes from story. When it's just put on top, it doesn't work for me. So I'm hoping that this is another really awesome epic thing that's character driven and not just action with characters sort of laced in, it's hard. I feel like I'm not explaining it well, but like when a film is action, and you don't get any moments to connect with why the characters are taking part in that action, it's a bummer. Whereas this, from the very beginning, you see what's going on with her. You see her calming her mind and beginning the end of the journey, and it's very exciting. And then you get to see little clips of like other characters doing things that you're like, yes, it makes sense to see, the Millennium Falcon flying this way. It makes sense, and then you get that big moment of like, oh my gosh, that's a Death Star. And it's not in space. It's crashed. That's a crashed Death Star. And oh my gosh, that's the Emperor. Like, it's exciting. You want to see more. And that's, I think, a big mark of a successful trailer is they don't give everything away, but they give you just enough to go, I'm going to watch this.
It's a teaser for sure. Is it exciting, Bloodworth? Do you want to see more?
I definitely want to see more. It's funny. It's interesting to get your perspective of kind of your first impressions, because this trailer had to warm me up. Like when this first scene, like I was not into it at all. Like, she's out in the middle of nowhere. What is she doing? Like, why is this? This ship is flying straight at her. Seems kind of silly, So and then even the jump, and like, is she gonna make it? She's about to hit the windshield, right?
She's gonna cut that ship in half.
The jump is a bit odd. It's a bit of a weird transition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting seeing people speculate like I'm not sure if she's actually attacking that ship. It seems almost like she's we don't see her like actually get to the point where she swings the lightsaber. I don't, that's one of like my only negative points in this trailer. So I'm like, that jump is a little strange.
I mean, it could be a training. It could be a training. We talked about this. It could be a training sequence, or it could be not. I think it might be the opening sequence of the film.
Okay.
That's my feeling, and then you get the why she's doing it and how she came to be there afterwards.
I mean, just to dig in with nerdy stuff, but the breathing to me has an impact, especially with teasers, because the very first teaser we got for episode 7 has Finn on a sandy planet, breathing heavily, scared,
and not to mention
unsure of himself.
The most famous breathing.
What famous breathing?
Darth Vader's breathing.
Well, of course, yeah, but specifically with the trailers we've gotten for this trilogy.
Oh yeah, sure.
But yeah, bam, breathing is definitely a part of the lore of Star Wars. But we also begin, I believe it was the first teaser. It might have been a later trailer with for episode 8 with Luke Skywalker saying, "Just breathe." So like there definitely is this recurring theme in these series of controlling your emotions, calming down. We see Kylo definitely not doing that. Rey's kind of like the antithesis to him. We assume that it's Kylo. I kind of like the tease here. We see the gloves. We see a ship that kind of seems like something he would pilot, but we don't know. Which begs all sorts of questions. When does this take place in the film? What kind of what situation is this? Why is this person flying so low? Why don't they fire their guns at Rey when they get close? And then I think so many interesting. There's just so many things in this trailer to me that call back to previous moments. The Kylo with the lightsaber out in a forest, very similar to the ending that we saw with him in 9. This introduction of a new droid. I remember the first time we saw BB-8. Now we see, his name completely escapes me. I don't remember it from Celebration, but the new little one-wheeled droid. The whole thing is Leia's theme is like the main piece of music that we're hearing, and of course we get this.
I mean, you get to see Leia.
It's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That I hope is not just completely awkward in the film, because it was actually shot for Force Awakens, and they just figured out a way to repurpose it for this. But I mean, that just for me as a fan, and I know this might be frustrating for some people, because they're like in a way I got that emotional rise from Borderlands. I got that from Mortal Kombat, because I love that as much as you love Star Wars. I just think specifically how much was in here and what they showed, like seeing the skiffs remind me of Return of the Jedi. There's just there's so much here that I don't think is a direct copy from stuff that happened before, but I think they very carefully picked things to show people that. And I know it might be frustrating for people with Last Jedi, because they loved the curveball nature of Last Jedi, that it kind of upended a lot of Star Wars norms and felt very unusual for a Star Wars film. And so people are frustrated by this, because they're like, oh, J.J. Abrams is coming back with the fan service, and it's just going to be all of that, over and over and over again. But I think one of the main things that rocked me when I watched this trailer is remembering, this isn't just 9 is in the end of 789, is the end of 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, all the way through this whole saga.
What about 5?
Especially teasing, no, not 5. 5 is terrible. Have you seen 5? Awful, it's the worst. But the end of this saga, and then you drop the Emperor on top of that. And it's so funny that the thing that reminds us, the thing that labels who that is, the soundbite that they pick, which is of course very iconic, but it also is perfect in the placement where it is. It's like him laughing that like, yeah, I'm back, baby. Or like in whatever context, like I've taken another body, or I'm back as a ghost, or I've, somehow mentally manipulated people along the way. I'm pulling the strings, whatever. It's just nice to have that double whammy of, oh, he's laughing because you have no idea what's going on and he loves
You don't
that.
know why he's laughing.
But he's also laughing because we immediately recognize,
Yeah.
I think people even kind of just like on the periphery that have I just watched the main films. Like, well, you know who that is. Like, that's definitely a character that's come back. I just want to know what's up with R2. We don't see any R2 in this trailer. We see lots of C-3PO, but we don't get a lot of R2, and I'm nervous.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's okay.
What do you want out of another trailer? Is there anything that this didn't give you that you're expecting?
I don't want to see another trailer.
You do,
Right.
No, because the problem.
I mean, I also don't, but I'm weak. I can't.
The problem with more trailer is that then they'll put a important plot point in, and then I have written part of the story in my mind, and I'm waiting for it to happen in the movie. I'm ready to see the movie. This was enough for me.
So you're set on your expectations, but you are building them. You are piecing together.
I liked
you're filling
what
in the holes and
yeah.
trying to wonder when does this take place or.
I'm good. I wondered enough. They intrigued me. I'm gonna get my ticket. I'm
Cool.
ready.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where does this leave you, Bloodworth? Where are you now with Star Wars?
I mean, it leaves me a lot more intrigued. Like, I kind of, I went from being like very excited for having the new films to not really caring about like Solo at all. Like I'm like
Sure.
I just
Fair,
haven't even
fair.
bothered to see that movie yet because it's like.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because it's just like just
Fair.
even the concept
This
of
is
like
the
going
input I
back
want.
and doing that.
Yeah.
With like Han Solo without Harrison Ford is like nah. But yeah, like I said, like halfway through this trailer, they started bringing in those characters from before and making that through line. And I think in a weird way, it's like you're saying, it's like it's the things that they're not saying that's like really hooks me at the very end when you bring up that title of Rise of Skywalker, and that just seems like Skywalker what are you talking about?
Right.
And then
the only pronoun in a Roman numeral numbered Star Wars film. They always kind of
Proper
referenced,
noun, you mean?
Proper
Yeah.
noun, sorry.
Yeah.
They always referenced, just general things, but specifically being like, no, this person or this family, them. This is their story.
Yeah.
I would like to reassess my assessment.
Well, it's time for write down scores. So I mean,
Yeah,
this is the
I
perfect
know.
time to do that.
I have a little curveball to throw in here.
What?
I'm going to use the same.
The show's over. We gotta wrap it
No,
up.
I'm going to use the same judgment I used on the Borderlands trailer.
Okay.
Because let's say I've never seen a Star Wars film.
Right.
I don't know who these characters are.
Sure.
Okay, none of them talk. We don't get any dialogue. We don't
get
have
Luke.
we don't have any.
We get Luke's narration over it.
Okay, we get a little
A
Luke.
little setup.
We get a little Luke. We get some titles, and we get to see characters. Now, the clips aren't all the same length, and we get to see some variety. But what story is it telling?
What I do like is that it does say the saga comes to an end.
Yeah,
So
but-
sometimes, it does inform the viewer that you are missing something, and a lot of
Sure.
trailers don't do that. A lot of like coming into a new television season or something, like they'll just pick it up and run with it, and you get a sense of like how far into this are we? So I do like it. Definitely does. I definitely do feel
But
the
you
weight.
you need to know what the story is to have any emotional impact by what they're showing. And I think if you don't know what the story is, you can go, okay, I'm intrigued by their emotions, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know who these people are, what they're doing. None of this means anything to me, and it's a bunch of disjointed sequences. So I think that I just want to be
yeah.
fair,
No, totally.
because that's what I
appreciate
said
that.
about the Borderlands trailer, and I'm judging this from the point of view of someone who's seen all the films, and so all of these have a resonance that I've imbued it with. That of course the people making the trailer, they know that we're gonna put that resonance onto it. So maybe that's the same thing with the Borderlands. And I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not revising my Borderlands score. I still think this is a superior trailer overall.
Well, you're making me want to score this higher to offset whatever score you're now brewing up.
I'm not brewing up a low score. I'm just saying that it does a lot of similar things to my critiques in the Borderlands trailer, and so I wanted to be fair in
But
my
I mean,
assessment.
there's a whole different thing though, because the Borderlands, like, this is a teaser.
Right.
Like Borderlands
Sure,
is
it's the
like, we're
reveal.
gonna show you this whole shebang, and it kind of does.
I think Borderlands
Sure.
did have a teaser. I think it did have a one of these, a little
Yeah.
tiny video beforehand.
So I think that's the thing to me is like, I think there's still enough, like, that theme is strong enough whether you've heard it before or not. Like there is enough of it's like well paced enough past that first shot.
Yeah.
You know, because like like that first shot for me, like I'm just like, what's going on? But then it's like it leads into all these different things, and like, okay, like these people are they're together, they're on a long journey, like they're seeing craziness.
Yeah.
And then just that, but then I think that that weird juxtaposition they have of like what Luke's saying in the narration, and then the Emperor laugh at the end, and like, okay, like there's this whole other thing that's about to crack open that we just don't even know. Like no matter where you're at, you do have no idea what's about to happen.
So let's get those scores, if we can, if you're ready, if you're prepared. It makes me wonder, how long would it take for me in the city of Los Angeles to find someone who has not watched any of the Star Wars films and would be willing to come on camera and score
Oh,
a
they're
trailer?
out there and they're proud.
Yeah, I want to find them. I wonder, but it's like local, specifically. I wonder how long that would take me. I wonder, what I would have to pay that person to come in and talk about a franchise that they don't like. You seem stuck. You seem.
Well, I'm giving it a 9.7.
Oh, okay. Well, did you already write it down?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you wrote it down.
I just wrote it down just now.
Okay. Well, that didn't influence my score. 100% promise this was going to be my score. I was going to give it a 9.6. What do you think, Daniel?
I'm at 8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it
Yeah.
down.
But I think part of it is just I love Rey so much.
I mean, all of it is I love Star Wars so much. I mean,
Yeah.
and it absolutely plays on that. And so I want to like repeat that again and again and again. Like that is why I'm so moved. That is why, because we've had so much Batman in the last couple of years. I'm pretty set as far as like what I want from
Right.
Batman. Like I can't really think of anything that like we got two really great Dark Knight Returns. We got Batman Year One. I've seen like there's like 8 new Joker movies
gonna
coming out.
remember
Like
this.
I'm pretty good. Like I don't have expectations, but like I have a lot of emotions wrapped up in all of this. And when you not only say that like all this crazy stuff is going to happen to this character, Kylo's putting his helmet back on, C-3PO somehow got tangled up, but they needed to bring C-3PO on that skiff. Why? I have no idea. And oh yeah, Emperor's coming back, which not only sets a precedent for that character, but sets a precedent for Sith coming back. We've never had that. We have Obi-Wan come back. We have Yoda come back. We have Anakin come back. We've never seen, to my knowledge, again, someone's going to bring up some like expanded universe novel from the 80s. We're like, okay, but in these films, there is not a precedent for these villainous characters to come back and to have an influence. And so it's like, whether that's a recording they find on this Death Star, oh, look at that, a diary entry from the Emperor anyway, and you're like, they got us!
It's a diary entry. He just laughs
And, like,
for about 3 minutes.
Kylo like bakes a cake. Oh, the rise of Skywalker. Like, it could be dumb. Like all that humor that you didn't like in Last Jedi could still be very much in this movie. But man, in this moment, like they totally got it. And a 9.3 is still what we averaged out.
Yeah.
You wanted to bring us out of the 9s, Bloodworth, but you didn't.
Okay.
I love that. If you've ever been, you need to be on this episode on the show with Kyle, Amanda, because he will just bring stuff that he's unafraid. He'll take those gloves off and be like 2. I'm like, whoa. To balance everything out, but just like Star Wars, just like the Force, there needs to be that balance. And thank you, Bloodworth, for balancing us out. Before we wrap up, there's some other trailers that I want you to know as well. We got I love the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 trailers. They always have such high production values, and they have a new Alcatraz map coming to Blackout, and have fun trailers. It was kind of like we were watching the Borderlands trailer, and it was a lot of gameplay, which kudos. I actually didn't mention that, but like that's a lot of stuff happening in that game. So any game launching and revealing their game and showing that much footage, kudos to you. But with the Call of Duty, specifically the multiplayer-focused ones, even though it's cutting, there's a lot of editing, a lot of effects and stuff, you are following a story. You are following people and seeing what they're doing, and seeing, gameplay that is way more skilled than you would ever be. And I thought that was captured very well. Final Fantasy 15 episode Arden, the final Final Fantasy 15 trailer. Yes, this is it. Or like no more Final Fantasy 15 trailers.
I don't know.
Because this is the last DLC, right? Didn't they cancel the other ones?
I'm not sure.
I need the information.
I'm sorry.
That had a launch. That had an epic launch trailer that I checked out. Forza Street.
Right.
Forza Street
Yeah, I saw that.
had an announced trailer.
Yeah.
You're not? No, bless that.
You're into that?
It's a Forza. Well, it's a mobile Forza game. Blood likes Forza, doesn't like mobile.
I don't think it's only mobile. I think it's actually like free to play on PC or something
Oh, okay.
too.
I did see Microsoft on there, but I didn't know if that was going to be on Windows. But it definitely says mobile. It definitely says iOS store. And some killer movie trailers that I did want to talk about, but I really wanted to talk about. I had Blood here. I wanted to talk about Borderlands, and had to talk about Star Wars. And a lot of people asked me to talk about Mortal Kombat 3, but. I got mentioned in a Twitter moment talking about Hobbs and Shaw. I was very happy about that.
Okay.
I got included. I said it was this Moana sequel looks intense. So I don't know if that'll ever happen again, but it happened this one time. I talked about a trailer on Twitter, and Twitter chose me to be in a moment.
You were in a moment.
I did.
It only takes a moment.
Not until I watched this trailer for this episode, I finally was like digging through good movie trailers and was like, oh right, we got a Lion King trailer. I'll watch it. So I watched the Lion King trailer. It's a trailer. You can go watch it. It's very scar heavy. Did
you like
just
it?
No, I'm not into that movie at all. I'm not into realistic talking animals. It's just weird. That isn't a comedy. Like you could, man, if you want to you put Matt LeBlanc in there, and then we'll have a fun time. You'll make a fun movie with animals talking.
I finally saw
the serious drama of the animals talking. It's hard. It's hard.
I mean, I don't follow the trailer campaigns, but I saw a trailer for Aladdin when we went to the movies a couple weeks ago. And it's like, oh, this looks better than I thought it would look. So,
I haven't seen the second trailer. The first trailer, I was
curious about Aladdin because it looks like they're really going to experiment with it and do a lot of interesting, weird stuff. Where Lion King pretty much looks by the numbers, like they're trying to recreate a lot of these visuals. But it's. Again, one of my biggest issues with it is that I just don't like these animals speaking. I like the way they're drawn. They were, animated originally to look like a cross between something that
amazing
could
when it
have
came
sentences,
out.
but also
it still
look like a lion when it's walking around and attacking, they are clearly, they know that people are going to be weirded out by them talking. First, I saw Baloo in Jungle Book, just like, but because very little talking, I think you see Scar speak and you see like a second of Timon speak. And that's like, trailer 2, folks. That's like, this is probably it. Maybe we'll have one more trailer before this movie comes out. So maybe they know that people are a little wary of the talking animals. And Joker got this really interesting.
That was an interesting trailer.
Trailer that really kind of said, it was very tempting to put that in here as a Batman fan. But,
I liked that trailer.
I'm curious if we're going to see more of that. I'd maybe love to discuss that more at length. But that
trailer got me.
Maybe what I was expecting, but also had some interesting
for a while after I watched
emotional turmoil. Yeah, you're hyped on that. Were you curious about that movie after watching that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little like I almost feels heavy-handed on like the victim side of Joker, but
sure.
But yeah, it's
How
always.
Can we feel sorry for this guy really if he's going to do terrible things? What is he going to do? We don't know. We see him being goofy and getting dressed up, but we don't really see, not committing homicide too much.
You
which
basically
is like
see
a
him
Joker
losing
staple.
his mind.
Yeah.
But just a lot. Visually, there's a lot going on there. It had more of an emotional resonance than I was expecting. I got to call out a trailer, and I don't like to do this.
Oh.
But the Outward launch trailer, I'm calling you out.
Outward?
Outward. It's this game called Outward. Where you are just running around into world exploring. It is a third-person fantasy action game, and the titles, the way it talked about itself in this trailer was like, calm down. It was basically like being like, this is the greatest fantasy game that's ever been created by anybody. And I'm just like, interesting take, indie game. That's okay. Like these environments aren't that, like this is you have a lot of heavy hitters you're going up against in this genre. And it was just like, of all the trailers that I watched, it was the one that like specifically the verbiage they picked. I was like, tone it down, like just match the actual quality of your game and the audience that you're going after. And it can be tempting sometimes because you're an independent game, nobody's listening, you're screaming from the rooftops, nobody's paying attention, and it can be tempting to be like, we're the greatest. But I just something felt a little off there.
Unless that's its sense of humor.
We'll see. If any of us have time to check out Outward. We, of course, speaking of Joker, got the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate version 3.0 update trailer, which was terrible because everybody was like, that Joker trailer. And I'm like, that Joker trailer was good. And they're like, yeah, his moveset looks really neat. I was like, that Joker trailer. Got it. We got more, speaking of Star Wars, we got more of a look at Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series, which is a VR series coming exclusive to
I've heard
Oculus.
about this, but I haven't followed up to see what it is.
And had an interesting VR trailer. It did the weird thing where it's like all gameplay and at the end, like live action randomness of someone in a blue screen, like in the game. It's like, don't do that. Like I'm in the story. Why are you doing? That's your teaser or whatever. Like that's your poster, 30-second TV commercial of like
Right.
the kid. Like I'm in the game. But it's like if you're actually kind of selling me on like, oh, Vader's on Mustafar, it looks like, and building some weird tech or something, and we're a spy trying to get in there, and we're climbing, doing stealth, and like neat.
Nobody wants to know what they look like when playing VR.
No, yeah, that's the last thing.
Really.
And
Need a reminder.
it's not like we've never gotten Vader stories before, so it's like episode 1 of a Vader story. It's like we'll see how that goes. But those are some interesting trailers from the past month. Of course, that's not all the trailers. I want to hear all of the good stuff. You can @ me at Trailer Jones and let me know what you would like us to talk about in the next episode of Trailer Jones, which will be to talk about all of the wonderful things that happened in the month of May. But that is the end of April. Thank you, Daniel Bloodworth. Special thank you to you, Amanda Troop, for stopping by.
Thank you, Brandon Jones.
Was this okay? Would you return to Trailer Jones at a future date?
I would give being on Trailer Jones
Oh, no.
a 9.4.
9.4. Okay. I can do better.
Okay,
I can do better. We can do better, everybody. We'll see you next episode.